We're back once again, only on Last Call. Last Call to the alcohol, only on it's the Last Call YouTube channel. Now, joining me here on location, this man here, well, he's making his ABC debut on July 16th against Dustin Schultes at UFC on ABC 3, and well, he's open to basically turn a losing streak around. And well, he is looking forward to it basically also in a return to, dare I say, home in Long Island, New York. I give you once again New York's finest. I give you the Body Snatcher himself. I give you it's Dwight Grant. So Dwight, before we get to the fight itself, how happy are you that you get to return home? You get to fight on TV.
It's just amazing
like 5,
because
10 years ago, this would be like, no, never gonna happen. Now it's like, oh yeah, it's reality.
No, it's pretty amazing because I've never gotten to fight in New York because when I left New York, MMA wasn't allowed there. So you always have to go to Pennsylvania and go to like other places nearby, Jersey, to have fights. And now like always been my dream to come back and be in the UFC and fight there. Like literal like a literal dream to come back and fight there and be in a big organization. So it's literally a dream come true. Like another one.
So we're gonna ask, how tough has it been for this fight, just preparing in terms of like all of a sudden now you have people coming out where we're going at? Can we get tickets? Can we get to the after parties? Yeah, can you hang out? Hey, we're throwing a party here. Can you go? It's like, I'm fighting here. It's like, okay, can we still get tickets?
It's not so bad because people know that I don't like partying and stuff like that. It's more after my fights. Even when I fought in kickboxing in New York, like it'll be a big crowd and we'd all go get like pancakes and milkshakes and stuff like that. That's my thing. So anybody that's not a fan of sweets and cakes and pies usually doesn't follow me after the fight. But people ask for tickets, it hasn't been so bad either because I think everybody was just gonna go anyway, and they find out I'm gonna be there. So there's probably like a few people who found out I was fighting and was like, yeah, I'm gonna go. But most people who follow me are like fans of MMA already. So I fight in New York. And they're in New York, they're gonna go.
How much does this mean in terms of you were there to be, as I said, you're 37 years old, so you're old enough to remember when it was, New York's never gonna legalize MMA. Yeah, it's not happening. They kept getting denied. And it was always like, yeah, it's a pipe dream. It's a pipe dream. So for you, just how much has, just as a New Yorker, as somebody who grew up there, how much does it mean to you that this is one thing you can cross off the bucket list? You fought at home in a place where you never thought was ever going to happen.
It means a lot. Not just because of fighting there for the first time, but because my family's gonna get to go. Like when I first started fighting, the only person that came to my fights was my grandfather. I'm talking about fighting in a basement, in New York City, of a church basement. We're all there. And my grandfather's in the audience watching me, and he would make the travel all the way from Brooklyn to Manhattan to watch me fight. And now this guy, he's gonna be at my fight for the first time, man, probably since 2000 and probably like 11 or something like that. Like he hasn't been able to come to my fights, but because they've been all over the place. And now he's back in New York, and he's here at the time too. So like I gotta put on a good show for God's sake, man. And my grandfather is one of my biggest fans and toughest critics. Like I could win by knockout in 15 seconds, and if I do it wrong, he can make fun of me for a long time. So I gotta make sure I put it together right for him.
Thanks to your opponent, it's Dustin Stoltis. Like you, he's coming off also a losing streak. Both you guys, I'm guessing, are feeling the heat. So what does he bring to the table? Like when you see his fights, and as we said, he's also, he's an established MMA fighter. Like what kind of fighter is he compared to, let's say, the last couple guys you faced?
Well, the thing about it is for me, with this fight, I don't really feel any heat because like I had my last two fights, I had a great performance my last match, and I didn't get to win, but it was more of a thing where I feel like they stopped the fight while I was standing and I was like watching my opponent. So it wasn't like I'm getting beat up and I don't know what I need to do to make a change. Like this guy, he falls into the range of opponents I've had before, where like he has a well-rounded style, but I see where I can make my connections on him and I can see where I can get the advantage. And that's really where it stops for me. Like as far as anything else he's gonna do, It's not anything that's out of the norm of what I've faced. The last guy I fought was a great striker. The guy before that was another like striker and grappler and Ronaldo. So it's not anything out of the ordinary. But the main thing about it is I'm moving up to a different weight class, and I have to make sure I put on a show. And for me, that's the most important thing, that I perform to the best of my ability, which is the reason I'm moving up to 185 to make sure I get the best performance out of me.
Now, this fight is taking place at 185, and you fought at welterweight for a long time. So,
Yeah.
how much of this is basically for you? Like, okay, I can't make 170 without killing myself. I'm going to try 185 and not see how I can do it without having to like drain blood from a stone to make 170.
Yeah, that's the main thing. It's so weird because at my last fight, something that I said to myself, and the reaction I got from one of my coaches let me know that I probably shouldn't be fighting at the weight class anymore. And it wasn't even a bad reaction. I just remember making weight and then drinking all the hydration stuff and being like, "Okay, cool, hard part's over," And and then my coach looked at me like, you still got to fight a guy, like, yeah, I know, but the weight cut has always been like the most deciding factor in all my activity leading up to the fight. It's not even the opponent as much. It's more like, at this point I gotta be at this weight, at this point I have to be at this weight. And I always make weight. It's not like I had trouble making weight before. Even in this one, outside my last fight, I made weight. There was a couple hiccups on the way there, like during fight week, but I still made weight, and I still went out and performed. But at the same time, I know how much effort it takes mentally for me to push myself at 170 compared to 185 just from training for this fight, because I'm about 3 weeks out from the fight and I feel amazing. I had I think just yesterday, it was a power work session, and I pushed myself so hard. And I just came from grappling before, and I could feel I had so much left. Even though I was exhausted, I was like, yeah, I'm good. At 170, not quite the same. You know what I mean? Like it's definitely not the same thing. And I've almost forgotten how much I have in me because I've been fighting at that weight class for so long. So I'm really excited to put on a show with this almost like a whole new body, like a whole new set of thoughts and drive and ability.
It's funny. I remember the very famous Reggie Miller said you have to have selective amnesia when you're doing sports. You have to just go out there and forget your losses, but also forget your wins, because the next time out it's going to be a whole different thing. But for you, how tough is that sometimes when, as I said, you're coming off 2 losses, a Francisco Trinaldo split decision loss, Sergey Kanazov a stoppage, which a lot of people also was contested. But how do you try to put it, focus on the future when I'm guessing it still bothers you every loss, because you're looking going, crap, could have done this, I could have done that, I should have done this. Why didn't I do this? And you start second guessing yourself.
Well, I think that's the biggest danger to those kind of losses. Like the Trinaldo fight. It was crazy. I mean, it was a crazy match in the sense that I got fouled a couple times and I slowed down and I did all this other stuff. I got held down for a long time. And a match like that is gonna make you not second guess, but always like, man, I should have did that, should have did that. I should have been more aggressive here. I should have, And then the next one was where I was unloading on a guy and they wouldn't stop it, and I feel like that loss is so dangerous because it happened to me before. That's the dangerous one, because that's the one where you second guess. Oh, should I push right now? Should I go in? Should I really give 100%, or should I wait just in case they don't stop it this time? Or should I? And that's the danger. Like for me, every single round is a new round, just as every single fight is a new fight. Even if I knock the guy down twice in the first round, the second round, I'm coming with a whole new attitude. I got to do good. If I get my butt whooped in the first round, I'm still coming to the second round like I got a whole new attitude, because it hasn't happened yet. Like I'm lucky enough that striking was my first art, so I don't have to think about getting somebody to the ground or getting them up against the cage to work my craft. As soon as we get within striking distance, I'm on. This is my style, my sport. Everything is going according to plan. So it's always an opportunity to do better things. I think grappling obviously is a great skill to have. I grapple too, but I just feel like there's more advantageous positions in grappling than there's in striking. I think a striker always feels like anything can happen, even though I'm dominating, I mean, be careful. And that's how I do it. It's more than that. I think, selective amnesia is a great term for it, but it's more that you're so focused on what you need to do that you can't remember or have time to think about anything else. So that's where I am. You know.
I know it's gonna sound weird. I'm throwing this out there, and there's a purpose. Do you start thinking about retirement now within the next year or so? Only because you and I have talked about how family is important. I know you have a young son, you know your wife, and he's getting older. So I'm guessing all of a sudden you're looking, going, crap, I'm missing out on like football games. Crap, I'm missing out on his first maybe soccer game or his first school dance. I mean, for you, when do you start going, okay, I want to be a father. I'm a fighter, and it's great, but I want to have time so I can maybe coach my kid or take road trips, not to worry about. Well, I got to worry about fight camp or this or that, and then all of a sudden you start missing out on this stuff.
Well, that's a wonderful point you just brought up. You know, like being a father was the biggest drive for me fighting, because I think that's when I just hit the whole effort meter to 1,000 in terms of getting things done. Before I became a dad, like, I would take fights and whatever. I listen to my coaches and like their assessment of the fighter and all stuff like that. But man, I remember when my son was before he was even born, when my wife just told me she was pregnant, I had this thing like, what have I done in my life that is important enough that I can share with another individual and help raise them, And I've been fighting and training martial arts for years, And then when he was born, like that, man, that went so high up to the point where I walked to the gym the next day. Well, not the next day because I was home for 2 days, but I walked to the gym the next week. My first time back in the gym, I walked to my coach and said, I need to fight right now. Like I need to fight right now, dude. Like I gotta buy diapers, gotta buy stuff. Like I need to fight, and that's been a drive for me for a long time. Now that he's older, the thing that's crazy is when he talks to me about his day, like I do feel a bit of like a pang of what's this, like, it's not guilt, but just like, dang, I mean, I should have been a part of that day, And for that reason, I think moving to a heavyweight class is the most important thing, because for me, fighting is not my identity, but it's something that I'm very passionate about and I love it. And that sounds cliche coming from people. Oh, I love to fight. I love to fight, but it really is for me. Like when I, there's a lot of people who haven't seen me in years, and they know me as like being a pretty quiet guy, whatever it is. But when they heard that I fought for a living, I was in UFC, they're like, yeah, that makes sense. Like it's part of something that I love. So to get out of it would be, I think, pretty devastating. And I wouldn't want that energy to be around my son. I want him to see me, doing my thing and loving what I do and living a life where I'm going for something passionate and pure, because it's something that I really like to do. As opposed to me doing something else where it's not as fulfilling. So that being a drive and move to heavyweight class, now I change my schedule to where like I can spend so much time with this guy. Like I get done with training early. I start training now like 4 or 5 in the morning. I'm finished early in the day, and then sometimes I get home and wait for him to wake up. So I'm there for when he wakes up until he goes to sleep. And I'm taking more control of my my camps and more control of everything I'm doing in terms of preparing for fights. I'm able to craft it that way so I can spend as much time as possible. And sometimes even time he doesn't even need me there because he's in school. Like I'm ready and on call to pop up there and do whatever I need to do, because I've been in more control of my schedule and my training. So that's something that wouldn't be afforded to me, I think, in a lot of other professions. And what I mean, again, like I said earlier, I wouldn't be as fulfilled. So the time is not on my not on my calendar, not in my my ideals at all. I'm trying to go forward and be better than I've ever been. So
When do you expect to have sort of like the out of body experience, or the geekdom of being a little kid? Because it'll be that moment, maybe the press conference when you're sitting there on the table with everybody and you're in New York, or when you're walking out and you realize I'm fighting on ABC, or when you get to New York and there's a press tour, you're at you're at Madison Square Garden. Hey, you're at the house where the Islanders played at. Yeah, you're at places where you went to as a kid. Hey, you're in New York. I mean, because you said it's everybody says, oh, you're a professional, it's your purpose to fight, but for a New Yorker like yourself, who, as you said, now the family can come and watch you. All your uncles, grandparents, nieces, nephews, they'll be there. Now, you can, your kid can brag, hey, my dad's on ABC. How big is this fight for you in terms of just controlling the emotions when inside the little kids going, "Oh my God, this is awesome! This is freaking awesome!"
I think growing up in New York, and especially when you travel to Madison Square Garden, or I mean, I've been going to New York. I've been going to Madison Garden since like back in the day when the circus used to go there. You know, like a monster truck rallies, like, you know, like all these kind of things. When you first see all the ads and all the big pictures, there's a sense of like the entertainment and like the person living there being you. You know, like the entertainment is a big part of the city. You know, you see ads for everything everywhere. Even like things you might not even want to go to, you keep seeing an ad everywhere. So I think the biggest thing for me is to be part of the entertainment and be from the city. I think growing up there, I understand what that means more than a lot of people who might just be fighting there because they're visiting, you know, like I usually do. It's my hometown. I know what it's like to be on the train and be staring at an ad for like what, 15, 20 minutes, 45 minutes, you know, and you just remember what's going to happen that day, even though you might not be attending it. But with something like this, I know how many people are so excited about this and how many people that live in the city that I'm going to, like, you know, represent, coming from Bed-Stuy, you know, in Brooklyn, you know, like living in different parts of the city, people I know from everywhere. Like, it's going to be a big deal for them, a big deal for me. And I think that's really going to hit just the moment I land, because the energy for me right now in my house is different than it is when I get there, obviously. But just thinking about it, I know how it's going to be different. You know, I have all these things scheduled I need to do in form of training and things like that, where I already feel more excited about doing it. And most importantly, for me, it's like kind of a weird thing. Running across the bridge, man. When I fought in New York, when I was fighting Muay Thai, I ran across the Brooklyn Bridge so many times. I'm so excited to go back there and be training for a fight and run across it again. It's been a long time, you know. And I think running through it again is gonna be when everything hits me. Like, man, I'm here to perform. Like, you know, like I'm here to entertain, and that's gonna be something that drives me straight through this fight and straight through this opponent. You know, something really strong.
Well, there we have it, ladies and gentlemen. Once again, we're proud to have on the show. I give you once again the hometown kid is returning to New York July 16th, only on UFC AB on ABC3 in Long Island. I give you the Body Snatcher himself. I give you Dwight Grant. Dwight, before I let you go, where can the fans check you out at? Where is the Twitter page, Instagram, the website, and who are the sponsors who've been helping you out for this fight?
Man, I always gotta thank my sponsors, GFY. They've been helping me out since I first moved here to California. I gotta thank Azteca Gym. I've been training them for the majority of my camp. Everybody there has been really, really good to me. Everybody, man. As far as Twitter goes, you can catch me at Dwight Grant, and on Instagram, Dwight Grant MMA, and Punches and Dragons, my video game page, and jrpgamers.com. That's my, my video game page again. You know, so check those places out. You see what I'm doing, see me building up to the fight. It's gonna be great to see me back in New York and reconnect with everybody, and you know, get ready for this fight.
Dwight Grant, ladies and gentlemen, once again, always on our pleasure having on the show. While we come back, stay tuned for more great action coming up only on It's Last Call. Last Call with the alcohol, only on the Last Call YouTube channel.